everyone, it's Darla from Crafty Yarn Owl. Welcome. As you probably know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and today is October 19th, 2021. So what I decided to do to bring awareness to breast cancer is to make a pink pumpkin. It's October is fall, the leaves are changing, pumpkins are growing, they're being crocheted. Right here is the pumpkin. And of course it has the little pink ribbon. So what I want you guys to do, and I'm going to be tagging a whole bunch of channels, all right? I would like you guys who have content on your channels to make a video to make this pumpkin and to tag a bunch of channels to get involved. And what I want is for you to plaster your Facebook, your personal Facebook, your Facebook group, my Facebook group, your Instagram, your YouTube channels, and whatever other social media you have with pink pumpkins. I want to see them everywhere. And I was thinking if you would like to also make a whole bunch of these and put them in a bag with a note and hand them out in your neighborhood, or just place them where people can find them, I think that would be awesome as well. You don't have to, you know, I'm just suggesting something you could do with these. So in this video today is a tutorial, and I tried to make it as easy as possible. You will not have to make a peduncle or a stem. You could just use a stick from your yard, which is what I did. And you could even maybe crochet the ribbon. I'm going to attach a video by the crochet nurse. It's a tutorial for this ribbon. So that'll be attached below if you'd like to do that, or you can just, if you have ribbon, hang it around, just glue some on like I did. So this is the pumpkin. I think it's easy to make. I tried to, like I always do with my tutorial, I tried to explain and show every little detail. All right, and if you have any questions, please put them below. If you're a YouTube channel that I have tagged, or one I have not tagged, because I wanted to tag so many. I have a pretty big list of channels that I'm going to tag. But if you haven't been tagged, I would love for you to comment below and say, I want to do this too. And when you put up your video, make sure to tag me so I can find it easily. Or actually, you could do that. You could also make sure you put the hashtag that I have in the title, and then that way our lovely subscribers can click on that and it'll take them directly to your video. So only use that hashtag for your pink pumpkin video. All right, so also many people have themselves or know someone in their family, a friend, someone who has fought through breast cancer. My sister-in-law is a stage 4 breast cancer survivor, and I am so grateful to God for that. Also, so if you have prayer requests for someone that is going through it, please put those in the comments, or send an email to me if you want a private prayer. And everyone who prays, please lay your hand on those comments and pray for healing, miracles. Pray for the families of the people that are going through it. So I'm gonna want to cry. All right. So let's just get into who I'm tagging. And please, please go check out these wonderful, wonderful channels. Okay, so I'm going to start with Pamela's Adoring Crochet, Cindy the Crocheter A, Karen Pruden's Let's Stitch and Make Up, Sarah's Little Corner of the Crochet World, Cinnamon Stitches, Bag O' Day, I Love Loopy Crochet and Treasures, Sabrina Malujuice, Crystal the Yarny Chicken and Crazy Cat Lady, Crochet Rocks, She's Got Yarn Too, Cindy Moulter, Dana's Wanderlust Crochet, and Setta's Place. Okay, let's get into the tutorial. Thank you so much, and God bless all of you. For this pumpkin, you're going to need some pink yarn. Now, I don't have the ball band, so I'm not sure what kind of yarn this is. You can use any pink yarn that you have. You will need the corresponding crochet hook. I'm guessing it's a 6 for this. You will need 2 stitch markers. You will need a long darning needle. You will need some stuffing, polyfill, or whatever they call it where you're from. You will need a stick from your yard, a twig, and you will need some pink ribbon. And this one has gold around it. I'm not sure at this point which one I'm going to use. Now, before we start our chain, we want to leave a tail that's about 10 inches long. Okay, and then you put your slip knot. And then we're going to make a chain of 15. Let's move this out of the way. Okay, so 15. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, never count the loop on your hook as a chain. This little bump here is our first chain, and we want to go into the second one with a half double crochet. So we're going to wrap our yarn around our hook. We're going to go through that chain. We're going to grab our yarn, pull through that chain, and then we have 3 loops on our hook. Grab our yarn, pull through all 3. Now this is where we're going to put our first stitch marker. Right in that V right there, that is our first stitch. Okay, there's our stitch marker. So that is 1 half double crochet. We are going to make 14 all together. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, go to 14, and that will, the last one will end in the last chain. I'll be right back. All right, so I have 1 chain left, so I'm going to put a half double crochet in there. Okay, half double crochet right in there. And then I'm going to put a stitch marker in that stitch we just made. Okay, now we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn our work. Now this row is your second row, and it's going to be done a little bit differently, but it's easy, and those stitch markers are really going to help, because we're going to make a half double crochet in this, what's called, let me adjust my camera, what's called the third loop. Okay, so you have your stitch marker around there. Normally you would go in under that V shape, but what we're going to do is we're going to go under this loop right here, underneath our V shape. So we're going to wrap our yarn. We're just going to make a half double crochet like before around that loop instead of under these two like normal. All right, so let's go under that loop and then finish it off with a normal half double crochet. So at this point we want to move our stitch marker into that stitch we just made. It will be easier as we go along doing our rows to find where our first stitch is at. Okay, so we're going to mark that first stitch, which is right here, that V-shaped stitch. I wanted to use my pretty owl stitch markers that were gifted to me. Now I'm having a little bit of a problem. I may have to switch to my plastic ones. It's just that when we do tutorials, we're in a different kind of position because the camera is right in front of our face. All right, so let's go to the next one. If you turn your work, you will see a V, which normally we would go right under that, but we're going to go into that stitch or around that stitch that's right underneath it. Okay, that is called your third loop. Okay, go in there and just make your half double crochet. Okay, I'll show you again. You have to turn your work a little bit. There's that V shape. So this is one loop and two loops, and your third loop is right here, right underneath it, right there. Okay, so wrap your yarn and go right around that stitch and make your half double crochet. And we're going to do that all along. Okay, there's your stitch. It looks like a V. Oh, I hope you can see that. And then there's your stitch right underneath. So there's your third loop. Go around that. Pull your yarn through, just make your half double crochet. And on the other side, this is what's happening when we do that. Our V-shaped stitch we normally go into is popping up, and it's making a ridge, which is going to add some texture to our pumpkin. Let's do that again. Okay, your next stitch, if you turn your work, you have that V shape, and then look right under it and you have this stitch right there. It's actually called a third loop. I said that. Go in there and just finish making your half double crochet. So let's continue doing that, and I'll meet you near the end of this row. Okay, now we're getting to the end of our row, and remember, when you finish each row you want to have 14 stitches every time. Okay, here's your next stitch, you have to turn your work a little bit. See that V shape there? Here is the loop right under it, right here, and we're going to go under that and make our half double crochet. Now we know we have one stitch left because we have that stitch marker in there, which is really going to help us, okay, because we may miss it, but in this way when we use the stitch markers, we're not going to miss it. All right, so we're going to turn our work. Turn it all, no, not turn our work, turn our row all the way to where that stitch marker is in that V-shaped stitch, okay? Right underneath that, right here, right there, is the stitch we want to go into. That is our third loop. Okay, so twist again. There's our stitch, the V-shaped stitch right there. Right underneath is that loop. So we're going to make our half double crochet around that loop. Okay, now we have our 14 half double crochets. Now we're going to move our stitch marker to that last stitch we made. Just put it under those two loops, that V-shaped stitch. Okay, now we're going to chain one. Now what we're going to do on this side, this is the right side, with your tail on the left side of you, we are going to simply do half double crochets in this row. So we have our stitch marker in there, that's where our first stitch is. We're going to put a half double crochet right in there. We're going to move our stitch marker to the stitch we just made. I'm trying to be really patient with my stitch markers. Go under those two loops, and then we're going to go into the next stitch and all across this row, just in the normal part there where that under that V-shaped stitch is. We're going to go right in there, and we're going to make half double crochets in every stitch right to the end of this row. And again, we'll have 14 stitches. All right, I'll meet you at the end of the row. Okay, now I've made 12 stitches in this row. Now I have 2 stitches left. Oh, wait a minute, sorry. Okay, I have 2 stitches left. So let's go into the second last one with our half double crochet. And then look at that one that's hanging down there. That is where we're going next. Now I just have to pull this a little bit. There we go. Okay, and then we're just going to do our half double crochet in that very last stitch. Now we're going to move our stitch marker to the next, to the stitch we just did, that we just made. I don't know which way to grab this. Go right under that stitch. Okay. So now we're going to chain one. Okay, so when we turn our work around again, where the front side is going to be facing away from us, we're going to be making the back, or the third loop double crochet again in those rows. So we're alternating between a half double crochet row and a third loop half double crochet. Okay, so there's our stitch with the stitch marker around it. There's our third loop right under it. So we're just going to make a half double crochet around that third loop. And then we're going to go into the next one. Oh, sorry, we're going to mark that stitch we just made by moving our stitch marker into it. Every row, move your stitch marker. Okay, there's your stitch right there, that little V-shaped thing. Try to go under both loops there. Okay, now we're going to make our next third post. We have our V-shaped stitch. That stitch or that loop right under there is what we're going under. Let's go under that. We'll make our half double crochet. After a while, you won't have to turn your row to see your V-shaped stitch there to find your loop. Okay, so we're going to do that in every stitch, every third loop, all the way. See, it's right here, all the way to the end of this row. And I'll meet you at the end of this row. Okay, now at the end of this row, we're going to take a look where our stitch marker is. And you're really going to have to turn this one. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get back in the shot here. Okay. So our stitch marker, it's behind, right? So we're going to turn it right here so we see the two loops that it is under. Okay, it is a V shape. It's a little tiny bit hard to see. That's why we need our stitch marker. So now we're going to look under that, and right there is your loop, your third loop. See that? Right there. Let me just turn that again. There's our V shape, and here's our third loop right here. So that's where we're going to go under to make our half double crochet. So there's our last stitch in that row. We're going to take our stitch marker out and place it in that new stitch we just made. So for the next row, we're just going to do, excuse me, half double crochets all the way across. So we're going to chain one and turn. And see our ridges that's making? All right, so now in that place where we have the stitch marker, oops, oh, I'm sorry. I keep moving my hands up here. Okay, in the stitch where we have the stitch marker, we're going to put our half double crochet in there and a half double crochet in every stitch, but make sure you move your stitch marker. It really will come in handy. And there's our 2. I really should have used the other stitch markers. Sorry about that. I'm trying to be using my the ones that were gifted to me, like I said. Okay, there we go. All right. So now we're going to go into the next stitch with our half double crochet and just continue that all the way down the row. And then when you get to the end of the row, chain 1, turn and move your stitch marker and make your 3rd loop half double crochet row. All right, so all together I'm going to be making, let me see here, 18 rows all together. Not counting the chain, just the rows, 18 rows all together. And just before I have finished the 18th row, I'm going to show you what you need to do to finish off that final row. Okay, now I think I made 22 rows. I kind of lost track, but as long as your tails, both your tails, are on the same side. Okay, and this tail, I just, ended it like normal and did a slip stitch, slip knot. And I made my tail longer. So this one measures about 1 foot and 4 inches. And this other one was short, or whatever I said it measured. Okay, so now with the extra long one, I'm just gonna put it through my needle. I want to show you this. This is it's a clover, I believe, threader, and I'm not sure where I got it from. I'm thinking hobby, but I can't say for sure. It is excellent, so much better than those wire ones that break so easily. Okay, and I don't know how much it was now. Okay, so I'm gonna measure this. Let's see, it's about 10 inches long. So this is the right side. So I'm going to fold it over and we're going to do just a quick slip stitch just to close it. Close it up. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. I mean, after all, it is a pumpkin. I'm just going to slip stitch along here. Yes, I poked myself. It's not very often I don't poke myself when I'm using a needle. How about you guys? Do you do that often? Or with me, it's every time I use a needle. Pretty much. Anyway, so there we go. So now what we're going to do is turn it the right side out. And then we're going to, let's see, we're on the other side, so I'm just going to push that through. We're going to weave in and out along here. That's why we need the extra long yarn piece to do that, do this. Okay. We're going to weave in and out. As you do it, you can cinch your pumpkin as you go along. And just pull it and cinch it if you like, or cinch it at the very end when you get all the way around. Just weave all the way around. We're almost there. And just put your yarn as close to the edge as possible. Okay, we're all the way around. And then pull it the rest of the way. Pull it tight. Okay, now we're going to leave that for now. Okay, now we're going to stuff. Let's stuff. Okay, use your stuffing. Push it around the edges, not just in the center. Kind of spread it out. Okay, we're going to put it part way right now, because what we want to do is we want to put this stick. This is going to be the peduncle. Okay, I think that might stick out a little too far, so I'm just going to break it a little bit, and then we're just going to kind of work our way into that stuffing a little bit. Put it around it like that. And if it's still long when we're done, we can break it off. Okay, so stuff around it so it kind of stays in the middle. You know, if you're not good at making a peduncle, which is just a stem, you know, use a twig from your yard. If you want, you can paint it green after or not. Okay. Did I guess at the right amount of stuffing? I'm not sure. Okay, let me see. Okay. I think that might be okay. So now I'm going to thread, remove my needle from the other one and thread this other tail here that's on the top of my pumpkin. Okay, and then we're going to weave around as close to the top as we can get. We're going to cinch it in. Just had to check the camera for a sec, make sure I'm in shot. Yeah, I actually tried out a different stitch, but I thought there's gotta be something out there better. So then I found another stitch. Someone was on YouTube, I can't remember who it was, but they were just showing you how to make this stitch, and I thought, hey, that might be great for pumpkins, you know? Okay. So I'm just gonna pull that tight again. Okay, so now what I'm going to do from here, and this is the reason we need a long needle, is we're going to go right through. Okay, whoops, I'm sorry. Okay, let me show you that again. I don't know if I was in shot. Okay, we're going to just go right through, right next to that twig, and come up as close to the center as you can. Make sure you're through that yarn and not through the hole there that we're going to cinch in a bit. Pull your yarn right through, and look what it does. It pulls your pumpkin so that it's dented in there. Isn't that cute? And then we can actually close in this bottom. I'm sorry, that sun is coming around. Spring and fall comes around, shines through my closed blinds. So we're just going to pull this tight. Put a knot. And then look at my stick kind of bent because I turned it upside down. But my stick is a little long, or my peduncle. So I am gonna break it off a little bit. Now you can fluff it up. If you think it needs to pull in more on the bottom, go right ahead and go right back up, right near your stick. Pull it in again. Yeah, the other stitch I actually used to make pumpkins before is just the back loop. Yeah, the back loop. And this is the third loop, so I thought this one might make it look, more pumpkin-like, and I think it does. Okay, so now, to get rid of this yarn, I'm just going to shove it through anywhere, and then cut it. Where's my scissors? Right here. Then cut it off, and then sew that other one in. Actually, we got it closed at the bottom there, so that's good. So I think I made another knot. Did I make a knot in here? Well, let's just make sure. Make a knot. And I thought for Breast Cancer Awareness Month being October, why not a pumpkin? A pink pumpkin. Okay, then I'm just going to shove this wherever, pull it out here, and cut it off. So yeah, I would love to see, if you make these pink pumpkins, I would love to see, let me see if I can break this. Yes. Oop. Oh well, it's a pumpkin, they get dirty sometimes. I would like to see, it on your Instagram, and if you could tag me at crafty.yarn.owl. Join my Facebook group, which will be linked below, and put it in there. And if you have a channel, make it. Actually, I'm tagging some people at the beginning, and you probably saw that. And yeah, just put them all over the place. Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October, pink pumpkins. So what do you guys think? Please subscribe and comment and like and everything. Thank you so much. God bless. Bye for now. Now for the ribbon, I think this one is too bright, maybe. The gold around it. I don't see Breast Cancer Awareness ribbons with gold around them, so that one's out. This one I think is too close to that color of the pumpkin, so I'm going to use this lighter one. So you just cut off a piece, Put it around the stem. And then we'll cross it, but I'm going to do a better job off camera. It'll take a while to straighten it out. And if you have glue, it would be maybe a good idea to glue it. You know, and then cut it off on an angle. Yeah, so. And then that's it. You're done your breast cancer awareness pumpkin. Thank you everyone so much.